Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to a year in review from the Kim Report. We have a sold out webinar today. This is our first public webinar, I would say. So we're very happy to see that it's a sold out event. I will give time to people to actually join us. So while we are waiting for people to come in, and as people are coming in, I invite you to answer our poll. So, what kind of year was it for independent salons in the US? What do you think it was for 2025? And I'll give 3 minutes for everybody to join, and then we get started. Can tell you right now we have a split. People don't all agree on the same option, so keep answering. Okay, one more minute. So people who are just joining, this is a poll, wanted to know what was your feeling of 2024, sorry, 2025 for the independent salon when we compare 2025 with 2024. So please go ahead. I'll give you another 30 seconds to answer, and then we're going to get started. Okay. So survey says, let me just switch to a different view. So now you should be seeing me in the corner of your screen. And so what we have as an answer, we have 45% of the people who think that 2025 was worse than 2024. We have 36% of the people who believe it was on par, and we have 18% who believe it was better. So I'm not going to give you the answer right now because this is pretty much the topic of today. We're going to be talking about a year in review and introducing the Kim report because people that are attending today are either a lot of you are not subscriber yet to the Kim report, have had some information. Some of you had a demo already. And some of you are part of a company that is a subscriber, but you don't have a regular access to the data, or you're interested in finding out more about what happened in 2025 and what the Kim report actually is able to give in terms of data. So let's move on. So, Kim report, cutting through the noise with access to real salon data. I think that's important. We're talking about real salon data. So this is what we're gonna be covering today. So we're gonna go to introductions, which I haven't done yet. I'm gonna do right after introducing myself. So why is the industry in need of better data, collaboration? What is Kim? We're gonna look at 2025. So giving you some numbers right from the beginning. Proof trust, talk about our partners, about our transparency, claim and promise, I should say. Looking at December at Q4 performances, we're also going to be looking at like how does that impact the industry and what to actually look for, what kind of trends were being established during the year and where it's going to go. And of course, we're going to look at the Kim development roadmap. What's coming in 2026 and talk about who should be subscriber to Kim and how to subscribe. So let's get started. I am Alain Audet. I'm the Vice President, Sales and Marketing for Salon Interactive. I focus on the Kim Report on behalf marketing and on expanding our strategic partnerships. My background is, and you can read, I'm not going to go through every single word in this presentation. So, my background, salon and spa technology, professional hair care, beauty brand, retail franchising, business consulting in Canada, US, and in Southeast Asia. So My big light bulb moment, I would say, I'm taking this from Tom Kuhn. I was on a podcast with him yesterday, and I had to come up with what is my light bulb moment. I think one light bulb moment is when I joined the professional beauty industry. It was that our industry did not have data. We did not have like real transactional sales data. We had a lot of extrapolation. We had a lot of surveys, if you want, but it was kind of like dated after the fact, or it was very biased. So then this is years ago. So I spent the last 20 years trying to build what we have right now with different partners. And I'm so happy that I joined Salon Interactive and the Kim report at the state it was a year ago and see where it is today and how this uh, Kim report is so relevant to the industry. So I'm very happy to be presenting this to you today. A little bit of housekeeping, just so you know, this session is being recorded, so you don't need to take screenshots and all that because the recording is going to be sent to you automatically. And if you have questions, because there's many of you here today, so put the questions in the QA and Q&A little tab that you see on the bottom of your screen, and we will review those towards the end of the presentation. Cody and Kelly from Salon Interactive are in the green room, if you want, are backstage. They're looking at those questions and they're going to group them and they're going to communicate those questions to all of us at the end, and I'll try to answer everything. So, Salon Interactive, the evolution. Salon Interactive started as an e-commerce platform, establishing distributor partnership. And with this anonymized retail and service data with our POS partner became possible. So we are now considering ourselves as a neutral data middleware that is actually very unique in Salon Access to give us the Kim report. Our founder, Jim Bauer, is still today our CEO, longtime salon owner and the founder of Rosie. So his mission in life is to help beauty pros stop losing retail. That was the beginning of everything. But all of that together, this is what has created the Kim report. I'll give you a little bit of a timeline in a second. So Salon Interactive, trusted technology, marketing platform at the center of professional beauty industry. So we're connecting today over 70,000 salons, 17 distributors, and we are at 8 leading POS and industry partners through data, AI, and innovation to help brand reach customers, grow sales, and shape the future of the salon industry. So this is our lofty goal. So quickly, over the last 5 years, what happened? Salon Interactive started with e-commerce, build a retail OBM on behalf marketing for just to make sure that people understand what OBM stands for. Software integration in 2021. 2024, we started launching service OBM. So we went from retail only to now service OBM, and some brands that are here today have already participated in 2025 and 2024, then in 2025, and now we're opening it to all brands who want to participate into a service OBM. But that's a different conversation. I'm not going to be spending too much time on that. And 2025, this is when the Kim report started to publish officially. We have some partners who started before in 2024 to help finance the launch of all of this. And then we have partners that are joining, or subscribers, I should say, that have been joining throughout the year, and some that are joining right now. And hopefully, many of you will join in the next few months. So, searching for salon data, this is one of the issue. If you work for a manufacturer or distributor, very often your leadership is going to tell you, well, salon industry doesn't have very real usable data. You search the internet and the numbers are all over the place. You have different sources. Even if you're going onto AI, ChatGPT and all, it's very interesting to see how wide the gap is in what one platform, one site or whatever is telling you the size of the industry or how the industry is evolving. Very often data is not industry specific, or it's not very clear that is data or is extrapolation from manufacturer sales to distributor sales to sell in, and we don't know exactly what's happening at the transactional level. So that's very different type of information that we have. Or your data is coming from a single data provider. So the data is interesting, but it is somewhat skewed because one data provider would have a certain market target, Same thing with a brand may have a certain market target. So with this, I mean, the information is not covering the whole span of the industry. So you're looking for reliable, timely salon transactional data, and you want to make sure that is you're able to segment into that data to know the different cohorts and other way for you to derive numbers from the data that you have. So Kim report, saying start growing. This is the objective. So I think one thing that we all agree on, I mean, we were lucky to be present at the industry leader roundtable organized by Beauty Change Lives and Pivot Point the last two times. There was one in May last year in Miami and lately at the PB Executive Summit in Phoenix. So what everybody agrees on contact Steve Rice as well to see because it's a full report. I just took three screenshots of the whole report. So I think this is very important. People are looking for collaboration. So the different side of our industry. So the schools, the manufacturers, the distributors, the chain salons, the associations. We're looking also at government bodies. So they're looking at industry-wide standards. So alignment on taxonomy, on definitions, financial. So different sources are giving different information so that we agree that we are looking at the industry from different lenses, but we are actually trying to put all this information together so it makes sense for everybody. So maybe not one single source, but multiple sources that are actually working together at making sure that every aspect of the industry is well documented and well covered. So what is KIM? It's not my sister. KIM is stands for Key Industry Metrics. So it's transactional data directly from the salon booking software payment platform. So what does that mean? The data that Kim has is the data that comes from when a client leaves the salon and pays for the transaction. So the services that they had, plus the retail products that they purchased, this is what we actually, the information that is transferred to us, not per transaction as that's not live as they happen. It's once a month. We collect all this information and we are able to build the Kim report. Today, we are reporting on 10,785 salons. What's important is there's absolutely no way, and then if you listen to the podcast from Gordon Miller, he explains this very, very well, how there's absolutely no way that we can actually follow 222,000 salons every single month just because of the sheer size of this and the analysis that would represent. But this is the reason why statistic evidence, actual statistic rules actually apply in here. So at 10,785, we are considered to be extremely statistically sound in terms of representing the industry. And what's important is also that we make sure that we report on the right percentage for each of the cohort. So we have five cohorts and one umbrella, if you want, census that we present. So we have the first one, we call it the all salon, and I'll give more detail a bit further. Then we have the 1-2 stylists, which represent almost 60% of our industry. We have the 3-4 stylists at 20% of the industry, 5-9 at just roughly 13, the 10 to 19 at 6%, and the 20 plus stylists at less than 1%. So this is how the industry is actually built right now in the independent salon in the United States. Why Kim is essential? Well, because first, it's the first monthly report, and monthly in the sense that it's just not just that it's every month, but it's at the speed at which the report comes out. For example, today I'm giving you information or data that comes from December. So 20 days into the month, we are able to report the previous month. And we are actually cutting down into this time over the next couple of months. We'll be able to gain a day or two and maybe up to 5 days and report even faster. So in-depth, detailed view of the professional beauty industry. Two important numbers, normalized, anonymized. So everything that we report, everything that we have access to is anonymized. So we cannot name the salon that is actually part of the 10,785 salons I mentioned earlier. They are a code that we receive. So it's actually this salon is coded. We just know that this coded salon is the same salon every month. And so this is where our data is comparable and it's actually relevant, but I don't know who the salon is. Same thing is a salon would be, let's say, a seven stylist hair salon. We do not know who the stylists are. We never have access to their name, to their any of their personal information. Same thing. And normalize in the sense that the data is normalized that it extract the outliers. So big shifts in business, or there's a drop in the number of um, stylists. So automatically these salons are removed from the data. So 24 months history, this is what we're looking for. So one salon has to have 24 months history with the same salon platform and the same cohort size. So when the salon, for whatever reason, grows or actually shrinks, the salon may be removed completely because it's no longer not happening. So again, it's a coded salon. We don't know who the salon is. What we are able to do that we're not reporting yet, this is coming soon, regionalization and more data that's going to be coming. We have 13 metrics that we track every day, every month. And with those 13 metrics, we actually deduce some other debt metrics also, not extrapolate. We take numbers and we divide them by some other numbers, and then it gives us some more information. So this is something I've learned when I was working for a manufacturer is you have a bit of data, you're trying to figure out, okay, what else is that data is telling me without manipulating the data, but just how can I get more information out of this? So, and the what's important, the salons are from across the United States. So it's not just one region we're looking at. We're looking at the whole country at once. And when we do regionalization, I'll explain this further into the presentation. So let's get into numbers. Sorry, not yet. Coming to numbers in a second. So why is Kim essential? I just said that. Technology partners. So the numbers, like I said, it's not coming from one single platform. So Square, Rosie, Forest, Envision now, Aura, Vish, Inspire, that people may know as STX. Those were our partners since almost the beginning of this project. So because we launched it last year, but of course, all that work took maybe a year, 2 year, 3 year to build into what it is right now. We have Mevo that is just joining right now. We're not adding their data yet. It's going to start adding in the next couple of months. And we are in discussion with Zenoti and Vegaro. So hopefully these two will be partnering with us very soon. We already have some very strong discussions. This is the only reason why I'm allowed to put those logos in there is because we are talking with them, and more than talking, we are in development stages with them. So let's dig right away in data. Remember when we did the survey at the beginning, we had 56% of the people telling us that they thought that 2025 was worse than 2024, 31% who said that they thought that it was equal, and 17% who felt that 2025 was better than 2024. So let's see. So 2025 Kim data showed a shift from volume to value growth at the salon protected their revenue through higher pricing and service mix amid a softer demand. Okay, what does that mean? Let's see. So let's look at the first snapshot, the full year, so January to December. This is one cohort, the all salon cohort. And what's important is when we look at, remember just now, we were looking at pretty much 60% that are 1.1, sorry, one or two stylists. So the average there is 1.1, and we put the 3 to 5, the 3 to 4, the 5 to 9, and all of that. When we put all of that together, and then we look at what's the average size of a salon when we're looking at all salons, it's actually three stylists. So this is the number that we report every single month when we go into the Kim report. When you log in and then you go into the snapshot, this is what you see is that is the group that we see first. So I think it's a good interpretation and knowing, what's going. I mean, we need to agree at what point, what are we following as an all salon? But again, when we do derive those numbers, we're able to look at different ways also to separate the salons by looking only at one cohort, looking at joining cohorts together to try to see, oh, let's look only at larger salons versus smaller salons. And this is where it's very interesting for the brands because our subscribers is when you subscribe every month, you download the new Excel spreadsheet, allowing you to do your own numbers as well and to do your own presentations. So just quickly, let's get into the all salon. So 2025 average service ticket went up by 2.6%, just a little bit or almost on par with the inflation rate in the United States, that depending where you look at it, between 2.4 to 2.8. So salons somehow protected their average service ticket. Their color revenue is actually did not do as well. It's still an increase at 0.9%, but there is a drop in color services. So 2.16 less color services. So what it means is less color client for color revenue. So the color revenue for these salons, if we look at here, we're looking at $187,000 in total revenue, and the color revenue was 72%. So somewhere around 33% weight of color business. So see minus 2.2 color services. So we had this round up. Oh, I just saw that we gave you the same information twice. Retail revenue down and our retail to service ratio also down. So this is kind of like, yes, it was better. Yes, it was equal. Yes, it was worse. So this is kind of giving us an idea that everything was happening at the same time in the salon industry in 2025. So let's look now at the overall industry. So that's an extrapolation. We took all the Kim report and brought it back now to the 222,000 salons. So looking at what it looks like for the overall industry. So a growth of 1.1%. So we added $458 million to the revenue of the salon industry. Color revenue up by 149 million, but 4.6 million less customer visit year on year. So the revenue was made with less people. This explains the higher transaction, but less people to make that money. So that's an interesting trend to look at, and we'll come back to this in a minute. Retail revenue, we see a drop again. This is, when we look at our numbers, we have 2023, 2024, 2025. This is the third year or the second year that we're tracking that we see year on year drop in retail revenue. What it doesn't tell us, though, is if that retail revenue has shifted to somewhere else, because we're tracking the in-salon transactions, so we don't know if the salons have managed to shift this revenue to online sales or affiliate programs or with SalonInteractive e-commerce platform. Because again, since the salons are anonymized, we can't actually match them together. So two different sets of information. As we know at SalonInteractive, we have a growth of at least 5 to 7% over there. So there's salon doing better in retail, salon doing worse at retail. We hope that people have figured out a way to compensate by moving, like keeping their clients, but just moving where the revenue is coming from. Average transaction is up by 2.5%. The workforce size, this is an interesting one. We only grew by 370 people. So the workforce has not grown as fast as the population. But at the same time, like we saw, we seem to have a oversupply of time available because we have less visits. So this is an interesting data that we want to be looking at to see really the performance of and the productivity of the stylists. Uh, Weight of color business has dropped a tiny bit, so 38.6%. While the non-color service revenue has actually moved up where the salon services are down. So meaning the salons have managed to switch a little bit or compensate the revenue by non-color services. So either and this is where in the future or a very near future, we'll be able to be more specific about where that money actually went or where it came from. Right now, we just know it's non-color. So is it because of new scalp services? Is it because of add-on services or treatments or more blow dries or whatever it is? But we know it's not from the visits. So it's making more money, offering more services to single clients. So if I'm looking at this number here, minus 3.7 million salon color services, we translated that to roughly 3.7 million color tubes or bottles, depending of your format of color. delivery system. So this is 3.7 million color tubes in North America, in the United States, that are sitting in warehouses, sitting in salon labs because there's been less color services. So this is a interesting number to see if that a trend was a temporary. Do we have a situation that is going to be continuing in 2026, and maybe how can we address that situation? The earlier on, I was giving you the color weight of business. This is interesting if we look at it at the industry level, but we break it down now by cohort. So the average for the whole industry is 38.6%, where if you look at it, it varies from 29.3 at the 3-4 stylist level to 45.6 at the 10 to 19. Um, People have a tendency, a few people I spoke with in the last couple of weeks, some coaches and people from the industry, they have many people are like, oh, they were surprised because they thought the color business, the color weight of business was much higher than that. I think for some salon, it's actually true that because if you're looking at a 1019 at 45.6, of course, if you are at that level on an average, there has to be people who are doing a little bit more and people who are doing a little bit less. But there's opportunities in there, especially seeing that these numbers have dropped a tiny bit for almost every single cohort versus the year before. And just to give you one cohort for 2025, another one, I gave you the all salon, and I'm going to give you now the 20 plus stylist. So one number that's interesting, when I told you that we had like just hundreds, like 670 new stylists in the industry, this is kind of where it happened. The 20 plus salons have been growing their workforce by 1.2 service provider per salon. When you look at this, it's a good thing because they're hiring. So the assumption is they're hiring because they're growing, and they are, because if you're looking top right, they've grown by 3.58% at 1.7 million on average. The revenue per stylist has gone up as well to 63,000, so 3.58%. But if you take those two numbers and then you do it like for like, so if I take the number and I divide by the number of stylists this year, and I look if the same number, if the number of stylists we had last year, so the real like for like revenue increase for the average of those salons, it's less than $900. So meaning been a capacity redistribution. So those salons will have to work at rebooking, at multiple services, or acquisition of clients because now may end up with an overcapacity. So that will be the challenge for this cohort in 2026. So I'm not going to go through every single number, but you see that it's positive everywhere except the retail revenue. And this is probably the category that the retail revenue has dropped the least. So they're actually pretty good at maintaining, and they had a good catch up towards the end of the year. I'd say October, November, and December. Sorry, especially October and December were very good retail months for this cohort. November was not so great, but the other 2 months kind of helped almost breaking or filling the gap versus last year. So another poll. So to everybody take a breather here. So which data that we just had here surprised you the most? Okay, we have results. Just there we go. So our poll ended. 47% of you believe that what surprised you the most is the number of color services dropping by 2.16%. And we have 30% of people believing that the revenue, what surprised them the most is the revenue increase at 1.1. And we have 23% of people who thought that the average transaction up by 2.51% was what surprised them the most. I think this is the interesting part of data is when you see numbers now. It's no longer just an assumption or uh, extrapolation. This is like real data. And of course, what I just showed you on a 20 plus, that information, you have it for each. It's the same detail because there's 13 metrics I told you about. So these 13 metrics plus the derivations that you can come up with, you can have the same type of numbers. Actually, in the Excel spreadsheet, you have the exact same type of numbers for each of the five cohorts plus the all salon. So let's talk a little bit about Kim, the platform, and what's behind Kim. I think what's important is when you actually set up something like this, you need to make sure that you're not doing it in a silo, that you actually bring with you people that keep you honest, I would say, and just make sure that what you are doing as a company or especially as a data resource, what you are doing is relevant to the industry, makes sense, and is actually transparent, valid, and well organized and regulated. So we have a group of advisors. So the advisory council, you know, all of those people, they are all very well known in the industry. This is very important. We meet with them about four times a year, plus they receive the Kim report every single month, and they comment on it also. They ask questions and they challenge, you know, some of the numbers sometimes. Where is this number coming from? Are you sure this number is right? So we go back into the numbers and we confirm, you know, because normally our numbers are actually accurate, but we confirm, you know, where does that number is actually coming from. So thank you for this advisory council for their implication and their involvement into this project. We're really grateful for your participation. So our manifesto, very quickly, stewardship. So we pledge to act, sorry, responsibly, security first. So we are making sure that we never get involved into the salon data. That's why we also have a salon owner into our council. So we have the voice of the salon as well as the voice of the association of the brands, the distributors, manufacturer, and of the solos also. Education, this is what we're doing right now. So the goal of this is to be able to share this information with people and not just keep it in silo. So some information is available and will always be available only to subscriber. But as we do right now, there's some other times where the information will be more made more public and more available. I'll show you afterwards, you know, in which way we're doing this. So our transparency promise, if you want, we are neutral. So no subscriber gets privilege access or timing parity. Every single paid subscriber get the information at the same time, the same way. Data privacy and scope, we said that already. So we cannot identify a salon or stylist or any of the employee data. So we have the neutrality, the boards, so they can make sure that we are actually doing well there. And we want to add a layer of oversight coming up soon as well. So a third party oversight. And we make sure that people know who are our partners. So just earlier on, I showed you our POS partners. So this is not hidden who we're partnering with. So we want to make sure to give them recognition for this partnership. So, who is a subscriber right now? So, as you see, some of our large group, I'm not going to name every single group or every single brand, but this is where we are as of yesterday. So, this is the active subscribers who have access to this information every month. And we are in discussion with many others. So, our goal is that information is available to as many people as possible in the industry. And towards the end, all the way at the end, I will explain how you can become a subscriber and what's the process and what's involved in terms of pricing as well. So also, I was just saying that we share our information, some of the information, and we make sure that Kim is not just a some data that is impossible to find, and at the same time, we don't want to be that data will be completely public. So there's kind of like a paywall, if you want, or a gate that delimits, you know, what information is shared and how it is. So make sure that our partners have access to the full information, the subscribers have access to the full information, and we are sharing some publicly. So how does that happen? We love being invited on podcasts. I mean, thank you, Gordon Miller, twice. Tom Kuhn invited us this week. I was with Tom Kuhn. We have Scott, who invited Salon Scoop. Jane, who did a very beautiful and very thorough 4 pages into the November edition of the Beauty Industry Report. Last year we presented that data driven. We also I had the honor of presenting at the PBA Executive Summit. In 2 weeks, presenting at the Empower Conference from the HPSA and on our Kim report. If you go on the website, there's a Kim journal, so a new blog. So you would find the links to every single time that we are in the media, plus some stories about Kim in there. So this is available to everyone, whatever is in there. And we share this information on our LinkedIn platform. So please join us on LinkedIn, follow us so you will get the information in time. And this is many of you have signed up to this session today through our post on LinkedIn. And if you are running an event, large scale meeting or a high profile meeting with some of your partners or within your organization with your leadership, and you would like someone to come and present the Kim report, present some of the data, and we are more than happy to support you in this. Okay, let's dig again in numbers. So let's look at December 2025. So month on month, we'll compare to November. Of course, when you're looking at December versus November, you're expecting everything to be better because just the situation in the year, December is usually better. And it was true for almost every cohort. If you're looking at cohort per cohort, the one that is extremely stable is the 1-2. That cohort, it's like month after month, or especially quarter after quarter, there's a very little difference in all of their metrics. It's very stable as a business. Where some of the categories, there's really up and down, kind of almost a roller coaster, with the second quarter and the fourth quarter normally being the best 2 quarters, and the first and the third being the lowest one. Almost equally though. So second and fourth almost equal, and first and third almost equal, with a bit of a gap in between. So service ticket up, but not as much as it's no longer at but by plus 2.6% or something. Maybe we're getting close to hitting a ceiling in the service ticket, the average transaction there. Unique visit, so there's a growth. So we're expecting this for December. More color services. The average revenue per stylist is up. So this is very interesting at plus 10%. Same thing, the revenue per salon. Of course, one is derived from the other. Retail revenue versus November, gift sets, people getting ready to go on vacation. Of course, it's the right time, people, the new launches and new presentations and all. So this is usually November is better, and we saw it was lower than last year. So better than November, not as good as a December the year before. Color revenue plus 9.45%. So how was it for the 5 to 9 stylists? This is one of the cohort that has a more of that roller coaster type of year. So retail to service ratio, they're the lowest of all cohorts. So this is where retail is the most difficult in our industry, in the 5 to 9 stylists. But you see their service ticket, if you compare it to the one before, it's almost $10 more. A 3.99% unique visit increase. With the average retail revenue, this is one that has one of the biggest drop at minus 6.36. And this is versus last year, or this is month on month. Sorry, I'm not sure now. So this is kind of this cohort is doing okay December, but the big issue was retail. Then if you're looking at per stylist, this is a derived number that I create for myself and for the commentary that we are publishing every month. So looking at this is per cohort, but then I divide the number by the number of stylists in that cohort. So roughly the 1.2 is like 1.1, the 3.4 is like 3.3, the 5.9 is at 6 point something. So just to give you an idea, the average size of each of those salons. And just to show you, the 3.4 is the one that has the lowest numbers in each of the uh, metrics that we're looking at. Average revenue per salon, average product sale minus 18%. And this is comparing to the all. So they're 18% lower than the average salon, where if you're looking at a 1019, they're like almost 12% higher. So this is what I'm comparing these percentages here. Same thing with the unique visits. And here, the average color service, there are less, minus 43%. You see, the all salon is at 21 service, and the 3.4 are only at 12, where the 1019 are at 32. So it's almost like three times more. So, question here, knowing that we're looking at different metrics, I've introduced many to you. So, a new poll, uh, which metric do you think will be most relevant for your company? Okay, I think people have are done. So it's an interesting split. It's almost equal. So 23% are very interested by the overall salon revenue, 13% by the non-color service levels, 23% by the number of client visits per month, 20% with the color service revenue, and 20% with the average retail revenue. So this is where it's very interesting when you look at different data. People have a different lens. They want to see because different things are relevant to different brands. Of course, if you are a retail first brand, average retail revenue is going to be your main concern. The salon revenue would be derived from there. This is going to be important for you. If you are a color brand, color service is the first thing you're looking at. And if you are a coaching group or a marketing group, number of client visit is super important for you. And of course, the non-color services, if you are a extension line or if you are a tool line and all that, I mean, you are interested in finding out, what else is happening in the salons. So let's move on. Just one second. I need to close this. So very quickly here, I'm not going to go through every single one, but just giving you, when I was saying earlier, the roller coaster between one quarter and the other quarter. You see, of course, they all have different axes on the left side. So because it's based on their value, they're not all equal because we're comparing a $15,000 with a $433,000. So don't just trust the height of each of the columns. But I think what's interesting is looking at the second and fourth. For the 1-2 stylist, the second quarter was better in 2025 than any other quarter of the year. Where the 3-4, you see it's the fourth quarter. You're looking at the 5-9, of course, is the fourth quarter as well by about 3,000. But the 1019 is a big difference, $5,000 on the average, and about $8,000 more for the fourth quarter for the 20 plus cohort. And you see the first quarter is always for every single cohort, it's pretty low. We are in there right now, so we kind of know what to expect now in terms of comparing with the rest of the year. Color revenue, because if we look at the first one was the overall revenue, if we're looking at the color revenue, and I have a few other categories here that I play with in some of my commentary. So the first one is the one that you've seen. The all salons numbers that you see are color services. The solo is the way that we look only at the 1-2 stylists. and divide the number here by 1.1 because the average that we have. So this is how we extrapolate the solos. Um, doesn't mean necessarily that they are all in suites. The solos could be, because that's one thing I didn't explain at the beginning. When we're looking at what we call a salon is a actually business unit. So a solo is always considered or always called a salon for us. But you also have in hybrid salons where in some situations you would have uh, the salon with 5 or 6 employees, commission team, that also we cannot say because we don't have that information. But they have 5 or 6 people that would be on one software platform, and then you may have 1 or 2 solos or independents that are chair renters, booth renters within the same premise, but with their own platform. So that would be three different businesses. The same way in a suite building, there's 30 salons within the suite building. This is 30 individual businesses that report based on are they working by themselves, like a solo, or maybe they have an assistant or they have another stylist working with them. So they're now 1.2 or 2 people working in there. Uh, so the data here, so as you see, the interestingly, the 3-4 for color revenue, third quarter was their best quarter for the 3-4 stylist. And the same thing with looking at the no solo. So if I am extrapolating and removing the 1, 2 and looking only at the other one, so this is where you see this. So this is interesting when you start playing with the data, like 20 plus stylists, they made more money in color services in the third quarter than in the fourth quarter. So why? What happened exactly? This is where requires more digging and more understanding in there. So trends to watch. Oops, sorry. I actually covered a few already in there. I think we we are wondering if you're looking at client base, okay, this is because the client is down slightly overall. So how do you actually reactivate your base? How do you reactivate your clients? How do you actually go back into figuring out how to increase the visit frequency? So this is, what's important here. Keeping pricing intentional. So be careful about increasing your prices too much, just making sure that it makes sense to your client as well. It makes sense for you financially, but it makes sense that you're not losing clients because the prices are going up too fast. Retail, we see retail as an issue. So how do you turn retail into the conversation? I mean, this has been an issue for years. Retail has never been easy, but some salons have figured it out and do very, very well with it. So how do we help all the salons focusing on retail to reverse that trend of losing that revenue? The productivity, like I said earlier, this is the 1019 to 20 plus are increasing their capacity. So by increasing your capacity, you're going to have to be very careful, very mindful of your productivity. So some data, some metrics to be paying attention to. And color volume is soft, but the value is strong. So how do you create those very strong color moments? Pushing your customers to try more, to do different colors or to do different techniques and all that in order to support your volume that you need in the color industry. So now let's take for a little bit the future. So where is Kim going? Now we use all national figures. Everything I was showing you so far is national from January report. So meaning in February when we start reporting January, we are breaking the country also into 6 regions now. So we'll be reporting all 6 regions. By doing this, we will also collapse one of the cohort just in order to maintain the fact that the anonymity, that's one word I have a hard time with. Sorry. So we will actually collapse the 10 to 19 and the 20 plus into one cohort for the regionals. So that will be just giving you a quick preview of what it would look like. So we can compare Midwest with national, Midwest with Northeast. So these are ways that we'll be able to compare this. So for brands, it will allow you to start looking maybe at some of your distributors and the distributors to looking at your territory. So in the first iteration is going to be just those 6 regions that will be presented, but in very quickly afterwards, we'll be able to break this down by by state, and then maybe even by zip code, depending of, the size of the industry within a specific zip code. So that's one. Brand presence. This is one that we're very excited. These are real numbers for a brand, and I'm not going to name. I call it the Z brand because I didn't find a brand with or not many. I can think of one right now that starts with a Z, but that's not that one. So the data set, because again, we need to be sure that we have access to the right information. So from the 10,785, it's not all the salons that are actually tracking their inventory, their retail inventory. So we are limited to who we are presenting there. So we are now, this is looking at 3,557 salon for this data. This brand is present in 327 doors, so roughly 10% of the doors. And in those 327 salon, they are actually representing a 14.7 market share. So we'll be able to compare this brand metric versus the national metric. And here, based on the number of salons, so we have to do some calculations in order to be able to compare one with the right one. So this is another feature that's going to be coming up really soon. So you have them here in the first quarter. Brand presence is going to be in there. Then Q2 product and service taxonomy and categorization, uh, regionalization, the future stages in Q2. So what I was just telling you by state distribution. And I'll come back here to Q2 product and service taxonomy and categorization. This is very important to make sure that we are able to move to the next level to be able to start showing you SKU level and service reporting. So level one, everybody needs to agree. We're working on this. We're very far ahead in that categorization. So Q2, we'll be able to start presenting those reports, and mid 26, we'll be able to start looking at a SKU level. The fact that SalonInteractive has currently, I think it's 570 brands in our global catalog, because of the e-commerce platform and the 17 distributors we work with and all the brands that the salons are selling on their e-commerce platform. We have access to that database. And so we invite you to make sure that your brand is properly listed on our platform. So if you're not sure, just contact us and we'll connect you with the right people within our team to make sure that we can look at your catalog and ensure that we have the proper numbers. So part of this is always a question when I talk to different manufacturers and distributors. This is the last poll. So, according to you, a dry shampoo is a shampoo, a styling product, or is it a treatment? Okay. 71% of you believe it's a styling product, 18% believe it's a shampoo, and 11% believe it's a treatment. So this is where it's going to be very important for us to standardize this information so everybody is aligned in one decision where this category is actually going for this report. I mean, within your own company, you can categorize it whichever way you want. But for us, it would be very important that if the decision from all our partners is, okay, we want to put it into styling because this is the consensus, styling is where it should go. So this is where in our report the dry shampoo is going to show up. When we get to the SKU level, we'll be able to extract it back again, and people will be able to say, well, I want to put it in my reporting, in my in-house reporting. I want to treat it as a shampoo. People will be able to do that because they will have this type of granularity in the information. So we're almost at the end. If you have questions, if you needed to get more details, so go ahead, put them into the QA section, and we'll get Kelly and Cody to tell us to list the questions, and we'll try to answer as many as possible in the 5 minutes that we still have for this presentation. So, why should a manufacturer, distributor, agent, and other professionals subscribe to the Kim report now? Because you get access to our platform. This is the page at the platform when you get in there, commentary, quick view all salons, all key metrics to all salons, the key metrics per cohort. you get a little button there to download this Excel spreadsheet every month. And this is subscriber only who have access to this page. We also give you what you see here is a commentary. So that's the November one, but December had its own commentary as well. Uh, all all key metrics are in there. There's also one thing I didn't mention in this presentation at all. We're doing also a day analysis. So every month we look at how many Mondays are really Sundays, which day of the week is actually grown, which day of the week is actually dropped. So we are able to explain, like in May, we were able to explain why May was so good versus the year before. It's because we had 5 Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday. So the top 3 days, we had five in that month. So versus the month before, there was one extra good revenue day. So that had a big influence in the numbers. So sometimes it's interesting to cross some of that information, some of that data. So all the add-on analysis, so everything that we talked about today gets detailed into the commentary. So, and because, sorry, is that, yes, immediate. So you have, if you sign up now, you have immediate access to relevant timely data. You participate in a product and service taxonomy, which I was just telling you before. I have an influence in the development of the roadmap because we've had a lot of different questions lately from different people. Oh, when are you going to be doing this? Are you going to be able to do this? So we find out that what is actually more relevant to our subscribers and realign if you want a little bit our roadmap based on that. And you would secure your pricing for 24 months with everything that is available right now. So I think this is important. So that would be a way for you to make sure that your budget is predictable with the Kim report. And pricing, we can discuss that just very quickly. It's roughly 0.1% of wholesale revenue. This is the baseline prices. And if you're a franchise group, if you're a school group, these are the prices to look at, and emerging businesses, because we want to make sure that people have access to some of that data as well. So there you go. Questions?
Cool. One of the first
Pro
questions we have, Alay, is do services outside of hair, are services outside of hair covered? So wax, laser, spa treatments, nail.
Not yet. This is part of our roadmap. I didn't mention it in there. Just we with the salon platforms that we have, we will have access to that level of information because they have medical spa or med spa or estheticians in their database. At this point now, we focus on salon services only, but the machine is built. So the moment that we say, okay, well, we're going to turn this one on, we'll be able to turn them on. And I would say it would be somewhere towards the second half of 26.
Next question. Can you tell us how many services per stylist are happening each month? Are you able to make an extrapolation on like full-time versus part-time stylists?
We're not able to do full-time versus part-time. Looking at the numbers, I'm able to see that the 3, 4 stylist salons have a tendency to do way less services than the other categories. So assumption that there's more part-time people, but that's not a data that we're able to track right now. All we see is the number of services. We don't see their productivity. But that's something that we are like querying now if there's a way for us to be able to track this correctly. Because some salons, the way that they work, they add their transactions at the payment level, not necessarily at the appointment booking, so pre-booking or so the reporting might be slightly different, but we are trying to see if that's something that we can add in the future.
Great. And then the last question that we have in the queue right now
Yep.
is what is the end game for salon count to be part of this data?
The end game for, sorry, repeat that question.
For salon count to be part of this data?
The end game. So right now, this we actually have access to because of our partners. Our partners together have 70,000 salons in their database. We looked at whatever is available and the size of the industry that we're looking at 222,000 independent salons. When you break this down and what we had available, the 10,785 was the best scenario right now. We could put more solos in there, but then we're breaking the ratios. So we're not projecting the proper image. With the addition of new platform, that number is going to keep growing because we'll have access to more, so to keep being able to represent more and more of the industry. We believe right now that we are statistically sound, and that the moment we hit reporting on 15,000 salons, there's not going to be any advantages to report on more and more and more in order to get better data. The only thing we would get, maybe it's like if we go over to 15,000, is the regional information. We may be able to dig a bit deeper in some regions.
Awesome. Thank you. That is the rest of the questions.
Well, thank you for everyone who were here today, or everyone who's watching this afterwards or rewatching this. If you have any questions, if you want to be in contact with me or see this again, so please scan this QR code or go to the Kim report, request for a personalized demo meeting presentation. And it'd be my pleasure to take you through the platform to show you exactly the tool and the Excel spreadsheet and the extrapolations and everything that we do and everything that some of our subscribers are actually doing with the platform. So thank you very much, everybody, and hope to talk to you soon.